Hello everyone and welcome back to Cinema Shakedown, the weekly podcast that functions as a grab bag for all things film. I'm your host Kyle Craigbaum.
I'm your other host Jordan Dennis.
And I'm the other host Dylan Miller, acclaimed director of such films Refill, Peaches, Kiss the Girls Goodnight.
Hasn't made any of those.
Hasn't finished any of them.
Yeah.
Man's talking to the voices in his head.
That communist.
We're cutting that. No.
Doxes the owner of the fucking...
We will talk about some of that process later. I do want to talk about your...
it's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
We'll interview you. We want to get a sense of your filmmaking process.
Acclaimed, as I said, acclaimed writer-director.
Acknowledged.
Refilmed.
Acknowledged writer-director.
Guys, we're joined by a celebrity today. Celebrity cinematographer.
Whoa!
Director, writer.
Whoa!
All the way from New York City, the Big Apple.
Dominic Regazzi.
Hello, I'm Dom. Thanks for flying me out, guys.
When was yeah, of course, man. We were happy to pay for everything. When was the last time you were on the show?
Minions.
Was it Minions? It's been a
Was it
minute.
Minions?
I think
No,
so.
really?
No, it's got to be...
That was the last one that I saw.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so it's been about a year.
Yeah.
How you been? What you been up to?
I moved to New York City.
How's that?
It's going good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
King of New York. Dude.
I'm the king.
New York, the greatest fucking city in the world.
That's right.
It's the Dompire State Building now.
The Dom
Yep.
Empire State.
Yeah, I've been up there.
Really putting the
Very cool, man.
really putting the Dom and Dominic, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. we don't gotta. Let's keep this friendly.
How's everyone doing today?
Back on cough syrup, dude. Mine's never been clear. Fucking back on the sauce.
Nice.
Good job, man.
Fucking my film got shut down, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
You
Do you want to talk about that before we get in the episode?
You guys should do it instead because I will get very mean.
We'll
very quick.
hold a little in memoriam. Real quick.
I'll have my assistant director explain.
Yeah,
that.
So we were
100%.
off for a couple weeks to shoot his movie, and there were location problems,
There were
and
setbacks.
we have to pivot a little bit, but we're still on track.
Stupid bitch.
No,
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 don't dox the owner of the
I'm
location.
not doxing anybody, but I mean, these are our dedicated viewers. They deserve
You know what? They need to know.
They deserve to know why their pale white king got his dream denied, dude. This stupid bitch tried to ask for $3,000 because when she hears, hey, I want to shoot a movie at your place, she thinks, oh, he's gonna show up with an iPhone, 2 people, and it's gonna take 2 hours.
Yeah.
Little did this stupid cunt know
Okay.
that we're gonna use her electricity from her building.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
when she comes onto my set,
She did
when I'm
100%.
don't throw up my game, dude. I'm fucking locked in right now. I'm so fucking dead. I'm motivated, bro. Friday, I'm an anxious, pansy little bitch because I've never done this before,
Yeah.
and I have like an actual crew, and it's the craziest thing I've ever done in my life.
And Friday went well.
Friday went well. It was the most exhausting thing I've ever done.
Absolutely,
in my life.
yeah.
That's
but-
showbiz, baby.
So Saturday happens, and I'm like, oh my god, I've done this before. And at a level that I'm way too inexperienced to handle, I fucking got this. Like, and we're doing the best scene in the entire film for sure. Like, Saturday was gonna go great. Waiting for the sun to go down. This stupid "see you next Tuesday" shows up. See you. And
No, we didn't have to
so
explain.
she shows up and starts talking about how we're driving her electricity bill up by the hundreds.
That's bullshit.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, it's absolute. She was lying.
We wouldn't have driven that bill up any more than $50
Yeah.
fucking dollars. She asked me, so how much in an Indian accent.
Don't do it.
No,
Don't do it.
We'll let AI figure this one out.
Who edits these podcasts?
Me.
God, it depends. Yeah.
So this bitch asks, what all are you putting into this? And I, in a panic and desperation to try and keep my project, my baby alive, I tell her, I got $3,000 going into this. She says, okay, if you give me that tomorrow morning, I will let you shoot until Sunday, until midnight. Block the bitch. Never talk to her again. Dude.
The issue is, I want to say right now, the issue that we made is
Not communicating properly.
not communicating properly and not making her sign a release form.
Yeah.
She
for the
refused
loca-
it.
I know,
She
and
refused
that should have been our cue to go to a different location.
She also refused my money. I mean, I
You-
prefaced
you-
the whole thing
you
by
offered
saying,
to pay
like,
her initially,
let
yes,
me
correct.
pay you money because we will
Yes.
be using your space. And she's
Yes.
like, oh, no.
Yeah. Where we just got to move on and find a new location. Locations are literally the worst part of Short Hills.
Don't worry, dude. I'm drinking cough syrup again. We're back in the game.
We're
Back to
lit.
the drawing.
We lit.
Anyway, this is a call to action. If you see any Indian women in
Whoa,
the St.
Whoa,
Louis
whoa,
area,
Even I draw the line. We're not putting targets on a whole race of people.
What happened to this podcast?
I know things have changed, Dom. Things.
Why is there a red light on me?
Anyway, do we want to talk about movies?
I would love to talk
Movies,
about
movies that have gotten made.
I would love to talk about movies. So what have people seen lately? What have they been What do you guys?
Yeah,
been watching?
we're doing kind of like a little bit of we all just got out of Maxxxine, so that'll be kind of the centerpiece. But we all saw a little bit of
Let's get funky, baby.
yeah.
It's a little freeform today because a few of us have seen movies that the others haven't. We're just gonna kind of rapid fire it. You want to start with the Bikeriders?
I was actually going to ask if you wanted to start with I Saw the TV Glow because that is, I believe, the earliest release of the.
I would love to.
We'll get the glazing out of the way.
I would love to. So I saw the TV Glow. I've talked about it on a few podcasts now. Briefly mentioned, not talked about it in any form of detail. So I saw the TV Glow as a film from this year by director Jane Schoenbrunn. Their first film was We're All Going to the World's Fair, which is one that I really liked. And this one revolves around a guy and a girl throughout high school. They begin watching this kind of Nickelodeon After Dark series together called The Pink Opaque. And they kind of latch their identities onto this TV show, which is kind of like a Buffy, Are You Afraid of the Dark type thing. And from there, their identities kind of become intertwined and go through a metamorphosis, Jesus Christ, of sorts. And it's very hard to describe.
No, that was a really good.
Yeah,
that was a
thought that
pretty
was
good description without like spoiling the themes of it.
Yeah,
That's like
in that way, very Cronenberg-esque, where
Yeah,
it's
I don't know
all
if-
about change.
I don't know
And-
if you could articulate like what that movie turns into, especially in the back half.
And you can't, because there's nothing quite like this. Again, there's elements of Cronenberg, there's elements of Lynch in there, but it's also wholly unique in that it's attempting a lo-fi style of horror. Not as lo-fi as We're All Going to the World's Fair, which is very kind of Mandela effect type, but it's.
Here, hang on. I gotta lob my vape over to
Keep
Dylan.
going.
You got this? All right. Brady the Gronk. Catch it. Yes,
I feel
sir.
like I'm so biased. I want to hear from you guys a little bit because I've said that this is my favorite movie of the decade so far. This is one that is already very important to me, so I just kind of want to hear from you guys.
And me and Dom both had the pleasure of like on separate occasions watching it with you.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
I
yeah.
imagine that must have been such a cool...
Yes, because it's a film where there's a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
And I will
mean,
be
you
showing
went
it to Jordan as well.
You went to New York, right? And watched
No.
that?
We didn't
What
watch it
movie
in New
was
York.
that?
Dune.
Dune, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what do you guys kind of work?
So yeah, no, I mean I'm biased too. This is like easily like top two. Like right now, my favorite movie of the decade is After Sun, but like this is right up there with it.
My man.
Yeah.
This just blew me away. It like got me thinking about like my own life in a way, like the people I've known and like people you come across, and like I don't know, it really struck me heavy.
Yeah.
Like walking out of the theater, it was a big walk home.
I thought your review was really beautiful. You were
Yeah.
talking about a
thanks.
friend
Yeah,
that you had gone to school with.
Yeah, like an old friend of mine, like in middle school, that like this just brought up every memory of that guy.
You used to draw and stuff.
He used
like
to
that.
draw and like he was like super obsessed with like this comic book he was making. He like lost himself in it, and like
Yeah.
that's all he would talk about. And like I got those vibes. Like it's just like I couldn't believe like a movie like made like tore that out of me.
It tapped into
Yeah.
something so specific. That's sorry to cut you off.
No,
but that's
you're
sort of
good.
the impression that I got from that movie was that it was tapping into something so fucking specific for people that like if you get it, it succeeds with flying colors.
Yeah.
Go with what you were gonna say.
I was
before
just
I
going
go.
to say, part of the strength of this movie is, yes, on the surface, there's a very explicit trans metaphor that runs through this that I hardly feel equipped to talk about because it's very specific to the subject, the director. It's very personal. But even if you go a layer beneath that with the subjects, you're met with the feelings of disassociating through your late youth, the feeling when time begins to move too fast through adulthood, the memories from your childhood that become distorted as time go on, all those kinds of feelings. It's such an evocative emotional core that I don't feel like another piece of art has really tapped into the way that this one does.
I've never seen escapism handled that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or I guess I should say I've never thought of escapism similar to like sort of identity crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these people. I've light spoilers, but I mean these two people, they sort of like escape into the show, and they consume it as their whole sort of identity. They literally get lost in it.
Yes.
If I interpret that correctly.
And no wonder, because I feel like this generation is so specific to us, because no other generation has gone through such an identity crisis as I think our generation has.
Good God.
Yeah.
Like with all the media we consume, people don't know who the fuck they are anymore.
Dude, I mean, I've assumed 50 different personalities all throughout my life. I mean, my current one is Vincent Gallo.
Yep. That's the other main theme of this is hyperfixation on something and how you can kind of that can become your identity, which is both a positive kind of liberating thing until it isn't anymore. Until you take that a step further and it becomes a replacement for an identity, like a trap. Yes. You have something you want to say?
You showed this movie to me.
I did.
And you were really passionate about it, and I was really enthusiastic to watch it just because I don't agree with all of the things you have to say about movies, and I mean that completely like respectfully. As someone that watches the movies,
that'd be boring.
Of course.
Yeah.
As someone that watches movies with you, I
of
mean,
course.
it's, but I don't hear you talk about a movie like that, and the last one that you did talk about like that, you guys watched without me, and it's called There Will Be Blood, which, what a capital fucking sin. What a fuck up on your guys' part. I was busy showing him Boogie Nights. So, favorite return. So, we watched this together.
Yes, we did.
And it's not for me.
Yeah.
And I did not like it. Not because of anything it did wrong. In fact, it was because of everything it did right.
Mm-hmm.
The movie was just not made for me.
Yeah.
And and I could go into all these. I mean, it's one of those movies you have to see it to kind of know at all what anyone's talking about when they talk about the movie. You have to watch the movie first.
Everyone needs
any
to
discourse
see
you see on it will make sense after that.
Yeah.
So I honestly could care less to talk about what I didn't like.
Yeah.
But seeing the reception to this movie, the top review on Letterboxd is someone coming out as trans because of this movie. That's beautiful to me. Like, in different ways, that is what some of my favorite films have allowed me to sort of tap into. It's just something that's just so personal to me that I couldn't, without that film, I wouldn't have been able to tap into that.
Well,
I think that's remarkable.
A few different people have compared this to Donnie Darko, and you said you're not huge on that one either, right?
No.
Yeah.
I honestly feel I saw the TV Glow more than I did
Donnie Darko. Yeah.
Especially in the context of like what it would do for other people.
Sure.
But I understand the comparison.
Of course. Because it's like it's made for that generation specifically.
Yeah.
More like in a vacuum.
I think Jane, whatever their last name is.
Yeah, Schoenbrunn.
I mean, salute to you. That's
willing to see whatever they do next. I'm there.
I'm sad.
Absolutely, day one.
It's very clearly.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep. I know because I want to show Jordan before, and then maybe we can revisit it.
I was gonna say, as someone who had friends in high school, how would this connect with me? As someone who's lightly on the spectrum and never fully thrown my identity into pieces of media.
Yeah.
How that's been my kind of apprehension, because it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I respect that it exists, and I'm sure it's great, and I will watch it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna not watch it, but I am a little apprehensive because again, I don't feel like it's for me. You know what I mean? But that's fine.
You don't know until you watch.
Exactly.
It.
That's it's not keeping me from watching it. It is making me a little apprehensive about it. Like,
because the main thing I connect with is the feeling of disassociation. So if
you should have told me Fred Durst was in it right off the bat, and I would have been sad day one. Like,
and Conor O'Malley.
Let's go. This movie was made for us.
I love that, like the way he's introduced. What the fuck?
It's very him. So yes, I obviously think it's a masterpiece. But we can revisit it later.
I think it's wonderful that it exists, and
absolutely.
I forgot to mention, like, watching it with you. That was very, I don't know, not vulnerable of you.
It was tender.
Like, yeah, it was like
shared something with you.
It was a bro moment in the gayest way possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then I sucked your dick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we fucked each other out.
Yeah.
He doesn't show me movies and suck my dick anymore.
Also,
count your blessings. One day you're gonna be old. You're gonna get crow's feet under your eyes, and all of a sudden he'll be showing movies and sucking the dick of his new little protege. So you know what? You enjoy it. You enjoy it.
Well,
I'll save you, Jordan. Don't worry.
We're gonna. It's a 5 for me. I think it's a 5 for you too.
Yeah.
2. With the liked. Well, I don't think I did.
You did not like it.
But
you didn't like it.
I've said my piece.
Question mark for me.
Yeah.
TBD.
Haven't seen.
Well, I want to open the floor to you now because Mr. Bike Rider over here, you're the only one to watch that.
Now I have to talk.
Yeah.
So I saw the Bikeriders. I forget who directed it. Fucking some guy.
Oh, Jeff Nichols.
Directed by Jeff Nichols, which I knew. Stars Austin Butler, Jodie Comer, Tom Hardy. The way I can best describe the plot of this movie, it is a literally Top Gun, but a motorcycle club.
Okay, sure.
Austin Butler he's kind of this, like, James Dean, hotshot, like, rebel without a cause, like, doesn't really give a fuck about anything, no direction in life, and the movie's kind of about him being pulled towards, like, his brotherhood and his kinship with this bike rider club, and him with marrying Jodie Comer and, you know, trying to start a family and, like, have a life and everything. And I think much like Top Gun, the bike riding club is a thinly veiled metaphor for homosexuality. I think it's completely complimentary. Like I think there is actually something to be said there, like in the subtext of the film about, like, you know, kind of being torn between these, like, two worlds. I don't think it's. I didn't love the movie. I thought it was, like, really solid in terms of, like, method actors trying to outdo each other's silly accents. Like, it's like it's one of those movies that's it's very slow paced. Like, it's not very exciting, but I was never bored because the performances are very compelling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Tom Hardy, Austin Butler, and Jodie Comer swinging for the fences on, like, a Minnesotan, like, Midwestern accent that is annoying for, like, 0.1 second until you, like, get into it. You're like whoa, like. She's like, and then he went to the bar, and like she's like going full, like, into it, and I respect it, but it's good. No, it's
Does Tom Hardy growl in this one?
Tom Hardy actually might give my my favorite performance in the movie. He plays, like, the leader of the bike club, who's kind of like a big brother, like, mentor figure to Austin Butler. But it's cool. It's you know, kind of tells that whole saga and everything, and then eventually, like, as time goes on, the bike riders, like, grow in popularity and, like, more, and basically it becomes, like, too big to fail, to where eventually, like, they kind of lose the meaning of, like, why they did it in the first place, and like it kind of transitions into becoming, like, a real gang, like, throughout. What were we saying?
It's just about gatekeeping bike riding?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah,
gatekeeping bike riding.
No, it kind of is, yeah, because, like, at first they're like people keep trying to join, and Tom Hardy's like, nah, you don't got the stuff, like, you're not a real bike rider.
You can't come in the salty spittoon.
Exactly, literally.
Yeah.
And, like, and eventually, like, they kind of have, like, a bad rep around town, like, because they're a bunch of, like, burnouts and, like, vets. Michael Shannon plays one of the members who's like it's like an Eastern European. I think he's like a vet or something like that, and he's, like, not all there. You know what I mean? So it's like a bunch of misfits and outcasts who have, like, found this family together.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Is Mike Feist in it as well?
Mike Feist is in it. So it's based on a book. These are, like, real people. This like, actually happened. It's based on the book of the guy who, like, spent, like, 5 years with this bike riding club and just interviewed them and documented them. Mike Feist plays the guy who interviewed them in real life.
Okay, sure.
So the whole movie is he's not the main character, he's just kind of around.
Okay.
But he is, like, interviewing Jodie Comer is kind of, like, the what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the catalyst for the whole story.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The framing device.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boyd Holbrook is really good in a supporting role.
Love
He's
to
really
see him.
funny. It's a really charming movie, and it's really like, again, it never really like exceeded my expectations. Never really like blew my mind or like tapped into something like super deep. But I think in terms of just like a really solid, well acted drama that like has strong themes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Watch this with like your dad.
I was about to say,
you know
this
what
is a
I mean? Like,
grandpa
I think
movie.
this is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
right up there with speaking of Top Gun, like right up there with that kind of
Sure.
Yeah.
with that kind of movie.
Yeah, I've heard it's.
What would you give it?
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5 out of 5. It's solid. I don't know if it's one I'm like rushing to get back to again, but I'm glad I got to see it with our buddy Charlie when that was a good time.
Cool.
Have you watched anything?
I want to talk about Hitman.
Oh sure.
Oh,
Yeah, you're the only one that's caught that so
Oh,
far.
sweet. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Hitman. Okay, so Hitman's about this mild-mannered.
Are we gonna link now, or are we gonna link later?
I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
So the Hitman is directed by Richard Linklater. That's what he was referencing.
Do you know what that building is? It's the Bates Motel.
We'll get to
Where
it.
they filmed
We'll get
Psycho.
to it.
Okay, so Hitman is based on a true story about a mild-mannered professor who moonlights as a fake hitman for the police department. So he basically just goes on these fake meetings with people who want to hire a hitman and gets them to incriminate themselves so that they can go to jail.
Great.
I did not know that was the premise of the movie. That actually sells me on it way more.
It's
It's
not
awesome.
about an actual hitman.
That's
yeah.
very funny.
And so Glenn Powell plays Gary, and he puts on all these different personas. And the guy that he plays, he's like a philosophy professor.
Yeah.
He's really like interested in all that kind of stuff. So he puts his all into it. He's kind of like a weird guy. He's got plants in his house. So
Weird guy.
Yeah, not
Plants in his house.
Strange human.
very normal SpongeBob.
What are we talking? Like ficus, fern?
I
Little bonsai tree, maybe?
don't know my plants.
You fuck with a bonsai tree?
I don't fuck with
Do you-
plants.
Do you know? Bonsai tree. It's like they'll put in like a little thing, and then they'll have like a little thing of sand.
Oh, I've seen like
And
the
you have like
Lego.
a rake,
Yeah.
and then you
The
drag it. Well, you drag the rake along the sand, and it's like ancient Chinese fidget spinner, like it like calms you down, and like it or Japanese, I guess. My bad. It's ancient Japanese, where like it's supposed to like bring you serenity.
All right.
I don't know. All right, not fucking with the bonsai tree.
Not really fucking with that.
Cool.
So yeah.
Tough crowd, huh?
So this movie's great. It's a Netflix original, and you can tell by just the look of it,
Yep.
which is unfortunate. I think that's unfortunate for most Netflix originals, but
That's exactly how we felt watching Killers of the Flower Moon. I think.
oh really?
Like we were watching it and like.
Really?
I disagree with
Like
that.
I think
disagree.
I think it's
It's
great,
just
but
us,
you can
Jordan.
kind of tell it's an Apple movie. I
does
don't know.
have the
That's
sheen.
like
Yeah.
really my only thing with it. Like it's like this is great. You can tell this was
Yeah.
made for streaming.
You
and
could
it's
also shave.
there's just like another episode for another day, but like in kind of that same vein in terms of
Yeah, and I think that kind of disperses away pretty quickly for me because this movie kind of keeps topping itself as it goes along. Like it constantly like questions like what Gary is doing, and he eventually it kind of turns into a rom-com pretty quickly. He meets this woman who wants to kill her husband, and for good reason, and he figures that out, and he starts building a relationship with her through one of his personas.
Is this a comedy?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a Linklater
it's a
movie,
comedy.
I mean.
So it's like
And it's Linklater, so he's like...
so it's more School
yeah.
of Rock, less like I don't know,
Yeah.
Boyhood or something.
Yeah,
like,
way more School of Rock.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's Linklater, so he's constantly like posing questions about, the human condition and like but it's not pretentious at all.
No,
it's
he
just
isn't.
it's just
He's-
really fun.
It's like funny and silly.
and
And
interesting.
there's like a whimsy to it.
And Glenn
like,
Powell fucking he's
Movie star?
He's the movie
Yeah.
star right now. He's
Yeah.
it. Like I can't wait for Twisters.
Have I told you I think that looks really mid?
Yeah, it looks
Fuck
fine.
you.
I,
Fuck you.
I really hate to say it.
And
but
I
think that
didn't
looks-
see Top Gun, but like I still have yet to see Glenn Powell.
I don't know why, but that scene that opens one of the trailers where like the wind is picking up at this like rodeo,
Yeah.
like literally like in the back of my mind I'm like, oh, they're aping Nope. Like
No.
I'm like, oh, all
Nope was
right.
good.
And it's like, listen, like some legacy sequels I get. Who the fuck
Seriously.
is out here like, you know what I wish we had? Twister 2,
Me!
man. Like, what?
I want Twister 2.
Listen, if you were going to do it with Bill Paxton, you shouldn't have done it at all. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I know he's dead,
He's dead.
but,
You're a man of many merits.
You think
I
so?
ever told you that?
Thank you.
Yeah, you got a lot of integrity, kid.
I think Twisters looks good.
Let's go!
I'm not like I'm like this is gonna be garbage. Like I am totally open to being surprised by it. You know what I mean? I just think I don't know.
I think you'll have fun.
Not impressed. Like, and then there's that shot. I'm sorry to go on the Twisters tangent. I really am. I have thoughts. And then there's that shot in the trailer of all like those CGI drones like going, and it's like,
That's from the first Twister.
I don't. Is it?
Yes.
The CGI drones.
Yes, they put those up in the air in the first Twister movie, dude.
It probably wasn't good then either.
Well, no, it came out like the fucking 90s.
Dumb. The cow. The cow was in the tornado.
I want to see a cow in the tornado. That's like
2 cows.
maybe 2, maybe 3. Who knows?
Anyway, Hitman. Fucking.
Yeah, Hitman.
So you'd say, like most Linklater movies, the strong parts of the script?
Strong part, yeah. The
Because
script
he's like a great writer.
It's
He's
phenomenal.
a fucking great writer.
It's amazing, but the performances, the chemistry between, I don't know what her name is, but she was great. It's just like, and it was the second sexiest movie of the year.
What's the first?
Challengers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they fuck a lot in this movie.
Is it rated R?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What is
yeah.
the sexiest movie you guys have all seen?
I saw one recently.
Okay.
It's called Purple Noon.
Purple Noon?
Purple Noon.
Who made
Came
that?
out in the 1960s.
Ooh,
French.
okay, 60s.
French person.
Interesting.
It is an adaptation of the book that inspired the movie we all know, Talented Mr. Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
The book being
You mean
titled-
Saltburn?
Anyway, it stars Alain Delon, who you may know from Le Samurai fame. Looks kind of like
I know who
James
you're talking
Dean.
about. Yeah, yeah.
He is, in his peak,
Yeah.
sexiest person that ever lived
Interesting.
in human history.
Okay.
It's but it's. Have any of you seen The Talented Mr. Ripley?
I've seen parts of it.
Okay. I really want to watch that Netflix Ripley series with Andrew Scott.
Andrew Scott,
Yeah. So essentially, it's about this con man, sort of this slick fucking devil who's friends with a really rich man named Tom Ripley, and he kills him on a boat and assumes his whole identity. Because out of envy of what he has, but also to sort of prove to Tom Ripley that like, yo, I'm that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I'm that guy.
I can do what you do.
The part of their whole conflict is like I get this vibe that you're trying to kill me. And
He's like, don't worry about it.
He says straight up like, yeah, like while we were on this boat, and he's like, well, how would you do it? And he goes, I'll show you.
So watch this.
And so he assumes this whole identity.
Is that before or after Natalie Wood?
Who?
Natalie Wood, she got pushed off the boat by Christopher Walken.
Oh, probably before.
Yeah?
That was probably, what was that, 70s, 80s?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, this
yeah,
was
that makes sense.
late 60s.
Everything before 2001. Everything before 9/11 just kind of blurs together for me, to be completely honest.
Never forget, dude.
I never forget.
My mind is always clever.
Man, don't talk about that.
Oh, he's in New York now.
He's in New York.
It's fresh for you.
Get
It's
him
still
a
fresh
bacon,
for you.
bacon, egg, and cheese.
I was there.
Get him a Yankee brimless
So you're
cap and
saying
a grape
this is the
swisher.
sexiest movie?
It is for real, like, I mean, I don't know how many French films and sort of the way that they shoot over there, especially in the 60s and 70s, but like New Wave just knew how to shoot the human body, sort of how like Luca Guadagnino does, and like Call Me By Your Name or something like that.
That's up there for the sexiest film.
It's certainly up there. But yeah, that's up there. I really like that one. It didn't blow me away.
Yeah.
But it.
But in terms of its sexiness.
Sexy as
That's
fuck.
what we're getting at here is it
course.
sexy?
Of course.
Do you want my answer? Chicago.
Really?
Good pick.
It's sexy.
Good
Yeah.
pick.
Sexy movie.
What's your pick?
Tampopo.
What?
No, I've heard of that one.
It's like
I
it's
know
like-
this one.
It's a movie. It's about food and people fuck a lot. But like it's like
Japanese
centered.
or-
I think it's Japanese. It's centered around food. There's a scene where this couple, they crack an egg and they put the raw egg in one of their mouths and then they make out and they pass the egg.
Do you have like a food fetish?
No, I don't have a food fetish. Nope. Jordan?
No, I'm with you on
Brother,
that. That's
no, I'm not judging. I'm just saying you're like among friends. Like it's cool. Like it's cool, brother. You would clutch your pearls at some of the freak shit I've got.
Can you match his freak?
Ain't no judgment in this basement. You like put a little whipped cream on that shit?
No,
Like,
syrup.
It's like a little unsanitary.
Keep it sweet.
So anyway, Hitman.
my answer is Desperado, by the way.
Okay, yeah, I can see
Yeah.
it. I can see it.
Does a movie, for it to be sexy, I mean, do they have to fuck? Is that
No.
No.
Okay, it's just that's
Probably
that
preferred, but not required.
There's like not a lot of sex in Challenger.
I was about to say a lot of the movies that I think of when I think
Yeah.
sexy.
but I think that like that's
definitely
like
adds to it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's a plus
Yeah.
if you can be sexy
Yeah.
without much fucking.
Yeah.
Desperado has the single hottest sex scene in movie
Ooh.
history. Antonio Banderas, Salma Hayek, directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Holy shit.
On like a draped like bedspread tapestry surrounded by candlelight vigils and ofrendas and shit. I was break dog hands free. That shit.
I'll shoot some rope to that.
Have you guys ever seen the fucking the Mariachi trilogy?
No.
It rules.
No.
I watched El Mariachi in a film class, which was like very famously made for like $12.
$12, yeah.
Desperado's really good. I don't know if I've seen the third one,
Okay.
but I hear that one's also good. That one's got Johnny Depp in it, I think,
Ooh.
and Antonio Banderas. Yeah.
Was it when Johnny Depp was like hot?
This was like late '90s.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Hitman.
Hitman 8 out of 10.
Cool.
Word.
Yeah.
Word.
Cool. We watched a movie today. These two did not show up for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was fighting, staying awake the whole time.
You were not because of the movie. You were just
No, I was
you were
sleep
sleepy. You were
deprived
sleepy
and-
coming in.
Yeah.
Quiet Place Quiet Place Day 1.
Yeah.
The new release, the prequel to the first two.
Before you get into it, I feel like I should announce, in case anyone was expecting it, I'm really sorry. We did not see Despicable Me 4. I know you all were really expecting.
yeah.
Especially because we got Don.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know, like, there was probably an expectation.
The fans were waiting for it.
I just need to let you know we had a lot of movies. We had shit to do. One movie had to fall to the axe, had to take the bullet. Unfortunately,
It was Gru.
Unfortunately, Gru has been shot in Miami.
So, yeah, we saw Quiet Place Day 1 this morning,
Yep.
and it's a prequel to the first two Quiet Place movies. It shows the starting of the apocalypse, these aliens landing on
The
Earth.
first day, if you will.
Correct.
Day one.
The first 3 days, I think.
Whoa.
Oh,
So it's not even
Yeah,
Okay.
days 1 through 3.
weekend one.
But it's the premise of the Quiet Place movies are aliens land on Earth and they can only they don't have sight. They completely hunt by sound. So everyone got to be quiet. And this one, it revolves around a character played by Lupita Nyong'o and a character played by Joseph Quinn.
Before Joseph Quinn,
Yeah,
Alex Wolff.
and Alex Wolff as well. Who is almost unrecognizable with facial hair. I was like, is that the dude from Hereditary?
Yeah, so
Long ass hair as well. I mean.
Is that the Grim Reaper?
And this movie is both what I expected and not what I expected either. It kind of takes a little bit of a different spin on the franchise.
You left out an important detail in that this film takes place in New York City.
Yes, it does.
That's where
And
Dom lives.
Dom, cover your ears, trigger warning. It very much takes on sort of like a 9/11.
Post 9/11 energy is
Um,
absolutely.
Tom just starts spazzing out. Starts skitzing.
It absolutely has that kind of vibe. It's more dour, I'd say, than the first two.
Oh,
more
awesome.
like downbeat.
Okay.
It's a bummer.
Sweet.
It's kind
It's
of
a bit of a
It's
bummer.
not action heavy.
no, it not in the way that you.
Well,
think.
neither are the first two, really. Like,
And I think that's where my issue with it is.
Yeah.
Is like the first two aren't really that action heavy either, but there's something really like engaging just about the human plot, the human interaction with it all.
it's almost ironic how the stakes feel so much higher when it's just one family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Versus a whole city.
Yeah,
that's-
like that was kind of my big issue watching the trailers. Is I feel like maybe they've gone too far.
They lost the intimacy.
Like,
But they haven't really,
Okay.
and that's the thing. Actually, what I will say is I think the human stuff in this, the personal conflicts work a lot better than the set piece moments.
It's the best part of the movie.
It's the best part of the movie. Joseph Quinn and Lupita Nyong'o are great. Specifically, I love Lupita. She's amazing. She's the perfect one to cast when you want someone to not speak and just act with their eyes. So expressive. Joseph Quinn kills
Knocked it out of
He plays a character you don't expect. He's like a coward. He's like on the verge of a panic attack the whole time. Like he keeps fucking up.
He's a law student with anxiety.
Yeah.
And like
shit.
the
Holy
first
shit.
frame you see of him, he's just like this sort of panicked.
Yeah.
Their whole relationship. I will say again, fighting, staying awake this whole time. There's a certain point in this movie where it's just kind of the two of them surviving, but also like managing this new life in a city that's like, I mean, the movie literally opens with like New York on average puts out like I think 90 decibels. Like it's a loud ass fucking city.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And so I mean, for the New Yorkers, for that to just be quiet, that's an
Eerie.
adjustment. I mean, it's eerie for sure.
Nuts.
Where this movie kind of falters for me is actually in that opening half hour.
Oh, I say the opening hour.
I think it's when Joseph Quinn shows up that it kind of takes life.
He almost saves the movie.
Still takes
in
a
a way,
second.
but in that first half hour, it's kind of going through the motions of what you'd think when you hear Quiet Place prequel. Like it's very standard set piece type tension.
Is that the scene in the trailer with all the aliens
No,
arriving and everything? Like,
the trailer does the work for
Yeah.
for the beginning of that movie.
Yes.
The trailer does the work.
And there is a wrinkle with Lupita's character that I'm not going to say because they don't show it in the trailer that it adds an interesting direction to the character from that first scene. You know? What her character is going.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's just that 30-minute struggles. It was really losing me until it kind of gains momentum again. And I think the last 20 minutes of this are great.
Does she have cancer?
Yes. She has terminal cancer.
She is. So it's a terminal cancer patient, and now she has to survive. And
I was about to say, so when you throw someone that's already kind of like
Dying.
Give it up on
relatively
life,
on their
like,
deathbed
Yeah.
in that sort of scenario,
Yeah.
it's
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
And that's where you get. So this movie was directed by Michael Sarnowski, who directed Pig from a couple of years ago.
I am a big Pig fan.
I love Pig.
Pig rules.
Great.
And so that's why like the human moments work super well, and maybe not some of the bigger set pieces.
Did you ever watch Pig?
I didn't.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah.
I knew you watched Pig.
Yeah,
We should show him Pig sometime.
Pig's
That
great.
movie rules.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that the last hour of this movie, the last 45 specifically, gain a lot of momentum, and it's lovely in a way. It's very sweet and wholesome and heartfelt.
That ending really is
It really ends on a high note. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think it gets there eventually. It's my least favorite of the three. I still think it's worthwhile.
I still think 2 is the best.
I agree with you.
I like both the first 2, but I think 3. I'm different. I don't like the first hour of this movie. I thought it really dragged. I was fighting to fall asleep. The last 30 minutes of the movie woke me the fuck up. Therefore, 2.5.
Yep.
Work.
Nice.
Do we want to get into the main course here?
No.
Okay.
I have one more movie to talk about.
Oh shit! What do you got?
Great.
Kinds of Kindness.
I totally forgot you saw this.
Gentlemen,
I totally forgot it.
Yorgos Lanthimos is getting weird again.
He's getting weird.
So
That Danish weirdo.
So Kinds of Kindness is an anthology movie that almost. So I don't know if it's a spoiler because I don't know if this is made explicitly clear in the trailer. I'm gonna say it anyway. The anthology about it is it's the same cast in 3 different stories.
Sure.
Like I wasn't sure if the trailer really like gave off that impression, but they're playing same actors playing different characters in 3 distinct sections of the story.
Sure.
You have the first bit, which is Jesse Plemons plays almost in like a Talented Mr. Ripley scenario. He's like the lackey of this millionaire. Does anything. He's basically lived his whole life by this guy's like blueprint, and eventually he asks him to do something that kind of like crosses a line for him, and so he has to kind of struggle with making that moral choice. The second one is about Jesse Plemons is a cop whose wife goes missing she's on like some research expedition, and it goes bad. They find her, and it's his wife's Emma Stone. she comes back, and there's something
Not
quite right with her.
Okay.
And he starts to like get convinced that it's not her, and then obviously things spiral out from there. And then the third one, which I think was my favorite. I think I liked the third story the most.
I've heard that.
Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons are in a cult, and they're trying to find like the prophet for this like this cult that they're looking for. And so it's and Emma Stone is kind of like again being pulled by like her devotion to this cult, and like she's like an actual family that she's like neglecting.
Yeah.
But it's a strange one, but in complimentary. It's one of those ones that like. I don't know if I got it entirely, but I am like not in like a derogatory way.
You're willing to get it.
Like I am like I need someone smarter than me to sit me down and really break it down for me because it's so thematically dense.
Yeah.
And very like allegorical and metaphorical. Like a lot of like you can never be sure like what you're actually seeing is like meant to be what you're actually watching, you know what I mean? Because
sounds like Yorgos.
because it's all like speaking to some like a greater idea and everything, and but I think like it really is anchored by like at the end of the day the core plots of each of the stories are really like off kilter and like compelling and like quirky, like it's quirky in like a complimentary sense, like they're so. It's just so strange that you can't help but be pulled in and like want to understand what's going on here.
Are you saying the video essays are going to go crazy?
This one, if this... I haven't seen a lot of people who have like seen it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of afraid this one's going to go under the radar in a way Poor Things didn't.
Yeah.
But I think people should seek this one out. I think this is one that...
I've heard it's even more explicit than Poor Things.
It's... Like sexually, yes, yeah, no. There, oh my God, there's a bit in the second story where it's fucking. I don't want to spoil it, but it's good. It's good shit.
Yeah.
I did prefer Poor Things.
Yeah.
I think, but this one, this one is certainly not concerned with making sure you understand everything it's trying to say.
I was about to say, I've heard Poor Things is kind of like the more accessible.
It is 100, which just feels strange to say because Poor Things is a deeply weird film.
Weird, yeah.
But it is certainly the way more like accessible, like crowd pleasing one.
Who would you say gives the strongest performance?
I think it's Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
I think Jesse Plemons kind of owns the whole thing. Emma Stone's great. They kind of almost do like a reverse in terms of their like importance, where like Jesse Plemons is the main character of the first story, Emma Stone's kind of in the background. They're kind of the co-leads of the second story. And then Emma Stone is more important in the third one, while Jesse Plemons takes on more of a supporting role.
How much is my wife Hunter Schafer in it?
Not a lot. She's in one scene.
Damn.
All I'll say is I owe her an apology. I was not familiar with her game.
Okay.
You'll know what I mean when you watch the movie.
Willem Dafoe, right?
Willem Dafoe is great. He plays basically like he's like the authority figure in like every one of these stories. He's the millionaire in the first one. He plays Emma Stone's father in the second one, and then he's the cult leader in the third one.
Interesting.
Perfect.
But he's so good. Yeah, no, and like strong performances across the board. Hong Chow is really good.
Forgot she was in it.
With what she's given.
Margaret Qualley?
I was just thinking. I was like, is there anyone I forgot? She's also really good.
Joe Alwyn as well.
Is that the guy who dated Taylor Swift? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I'm not.
I think is that okay? Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
Like
Margaret Qualley's good though.
Margaret Qualley is good. I think she really shines in the third story.
Okay,
that's kind of where she really gets her moment. But no, it's very high concept. Very like kind of gave Beau is Afraid, certainly in terms of like.
That's a sell for me.
In terms of like. This reads like a much-needed therapy session almost for the director.
I'm glad he got it off.
I'm glad he got this out of his system. Yeah. I liked this a little more than Beau was Afraid. I think because it's a little more. I don't know. It's not quite on the same like scale.
Yeah.
And I think that just spoke to me a little bit more how like individual and like personal these stories are.
It seems a lot more contained.
It is.
Beau was Afraid is the opposite.
Beau was Afraid is like a flamethrower fucking burning down a wheat field.
Yeah.
But no, this one it's great. Like I said, I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Oh,
a little bit of a weaker 4 than the 4 I'd give Poor Things.
Sure.
But yeah, if you're a Yorgos fan, if you like Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster, this is
I've heard Dogtooth is also like the closest he's.
This calls like way back to those.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I love Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah, it's good
Hell
shit. Now we can get into the meat.
Jesus Christ.
Maxxxine! So this is the third film in the Ty West trilogy that started in 2022 with X and Pearl. They both came out the same year. Both in my top 15.
You can check out our X and Pearl episodes of the podcast.
Yep. And our list episode because they're both in my top 15.
Mm-hmm.
I love both of those movies.
Ever?
No, just for that year.
No,
just for that
year.
year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, of 2022. No, Jesus Christ.
I was going to say don't.
No.
He said, "Don't what? You tripping?"
And kind of every film is kind of an homage of slashers or like the state of movies at the time. So X was
it's like a Texas Chainsaw, Grindhouse, dirty, slimy Texas swamp.
Pearl was an ode to Technicolor.
It's kind of like Psycho-y, like
Wizard of Oz.
Stepford Wives and shit.
And then this one is straight 80s. You mentioned
Dario Argento.
Argento.
I mean, it's hugely giallo infused.
It's like giallo meets like Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
So the
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so the main character from
good.
X, Maxxxine, she comes back for this one. Obviously, she's the lead, and she is a.
no look.
Nice.
You know what? That counts. That counts as a catch. I'll take that.
So Maxxxine, the main character from X, is the main character of this one, and she is trying to branch out from being a porn star to actual movies.
Same.
She books and she books a role.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans.
And she books a role in a prominent mainstream horror film, but in the background, Jesus Christ, trying to describe the plot.
Do you think it's actually a prominent mainstream horror film? Because I feel like there's almost a hint in the movie that like she's making it a bigger deal than it actually is.
I mean, they're on the backlot of the Psycho.
Yeah, but it's also like. What is it? It's like a sequel to like an Exorcist
That's
knockoff.
true, too.
You know
in
the 80s too.
Yeah, I got the sense there was some humor in like everybody being like, "Oh, this is her next film."
That seemed
True.
like an intentional kind
Nobody
of.
That's
like,
fair.
knows what the
So
fuck this is.
as she's preparing for this horror movie, in the background you have a serial killer that's tormenting
The Night Stalker.
that's tormenting the city.
Or not the Night Stalker, I guess.
And then you have 1,800 different characters and plots, and
Too much. Doing too much.
Kind of going to the sequel thing, like it did kind of imply that there's a really prestigious director.
Yeah, that's
it all.
true.
And she's a huge like voice as like thematically in what they're trying to say with the movie. Which
what are they?
Yeah, what are they trying to say?
All right, let's
See, I also
let's
felt
hop
like
in.
they were trying to do something funny with that, where like they've got this like auteur, like artistic sensibility director doing the fucking Puritan 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It felt
maybe
like,
Ty West is self-aware.
it felt like she did. Yeah, well, shit.
It's almost like that joke in Barry where fucking what the hell's her name is directing
the woman who directed Coda.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's that exact same like kind of idea. Like, does she really want to be here doing this? Like,
and this movie was served up on a silver platter. He had the cast. Mia Goth, we know from the first two movies, is a scream queen now.
Yeah.
She's cemented herself. He has a fantastic cast in this movie. Bobby Cannavale, Giancarlo Esposito, Halsey.
like T West like dropped back, sent that shit up 60 yards. Like, it's coming down. The motherfucker's wide open. Like, this is a guaranteed touchdown. And the motherfucker trips at the goal line and is set on fire spectacularly. Messine, more like.
I don't.
Better than Minnie.
I'm in the shit position now that we've all find ourselves in, where I did not like this movie, but unfortunately I liked it the most, so now I have to have a half-hearted defense.
Now
for
you
some
have
of
to
this shit.
defend Maxxxine.
Unfortunately, I've been put in this situation.
Let's jump him, guys.
Because let me start this out. I didn't like this movie. I think the first 30 minutes I was kind of into. I was like, okay, we're going somewhere. I like the style.
This is
the
not
prestige.
a movie bereft of things to like. Like,
Agreed.
there are things to like about this movie.
Mia Goth is still good when she's given things to do.
I think a lot of the presentation
the style
is like good. Like this movie's got
It
style in
looks good.
spades. The problem is it doesn't add up to.
I was about to say, who gives a shit about
this
style?
this is textbook
No,
style
it's
over
something
substance.
it's something to talk about with the fucking movie.
But I'm saying but style is good if it doesn't
I agree with
if it
you.
doesn't add up.
That's
to
why.
anything,
That's why I was
It's just
like
showy.
exactly. Yes.
showy.
Yes.
I agree. That's why I liked the first 30 minutes, and then it fell off for me when I realized that what is it leading to? Where is it going?
What was the point I made when we were walking out? Like, it's not one of those movies where you can really pinpoint the moment it starts to suck. It's kind of a slow. It slowly creeps up on you that it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it keeps gaslighting.
And you're kind of like, oh, and then it keeps throwing twists at you towards the end, and it tries to be very shocking and falls flat.
This is what I'll say. We're spoiler free right now. It won't be forever.
Much longer.
Yeah. Even with all of that, an hour 10 minutes in, I was sitting there, I was looking around at you guys. I knew everyone was not feeling it. And I was like, all right, this movie's a mess. I don't really know what it's trying to say thematically. It's kind of incoherent in that. But I'm not hating watching it. I'm not miserable. I'm still able to vibe. I think this is decent. The last 20 minutes is indefensible.
I was about to say, I didn't
dude.
truly feel miserable until a certain reveal happens.
That last 20 minutes is
And
so bad,
that.
dude.
You know what? Actually, if we can pinpoint a moment where the movie truly becomes
Dies.
dies,
Yeah.
It is that
completely
moment.
stops. It is that moment.
I heard one of you groan, I think.
Yeah. No.
Was it you?
Yeah.
No. It was not good. Didn't care for it.
I fucking hate this movie.
Yeah, no, it's getting worse now that I'm talking about it.
I really don't like it.
The more I think about it, and it's so, I'm baffled.
Yeah, I'm mesmerized by how much I hate this movie.
What went wrong?
Yeah, that's what I said when we walked. I was like, what went wrong in the pre-production process? They had a layup here.
Yeah, an easy fucking layup, and just whiffed.
I have kind of a theory.
Yeah.
What's that?
So you guys mentioned, and we talked about it coming out of the theater, it's so X's Texas Chainsaw, right?
Yeah.
You've got something to hold on to there.
Yeah.
Pearl, you have Wizard of Oz, sort of, you mentioned Psycho?
Psycho, kind of Stepford Wives, those old school, slasher kind of.
So you got something to hold on to there.
Mm-hmm.
This has not really a movie, although I really like the Friday the 13th.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Goes Manhattan.
Because it seems torn between being a campy, schlocky slasher,
100%.
and then being more a giallo, high concept, high art kind of horror.
I do think that's such a great comparison.
The
That's not a great movie to have to hold on to though. It's got a style that it holds on to, and that's kind of why I don't like the whole the style's good. It's but the style can't be your fucking horse that you're riding.
Exactly, and that is the
agree
problem.
with
And
you.
I think the style in this one also just feels way more inauthentic
It's
than in
super
the other
artificial.
two.
Yeah, it's not honest.
And you know what? The score even kind of reminded me of the giallo sort of genre.
I actually enjoyed the score.
There was
the score
one
was
bit.
pretty
There's
good.
one bit in the score towards the beginning. I think it's right after the opening credits where it sounded like the Shaft theme.
Yeah.
And I almost busted out laughing.
But there was a noirish theme they kept using.
Yeah.
That I thought was pretty effective.
However, the soundtrack I think adds to the artificial. It's
it's
really synthy sort of
80s baby and it's just it kind of ties into I really don't think T. West knows what he's trying to say with this one.
Not with this one.
And I think there's a whole I guess he's saying is Hollywood bad or you know or is it not?
What it takes to succeed in Hollywood as a woman. That's what I was referring to with the director.
Sure.
But what are you doing with that?
Yeah, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Do you
You
know
have a sentence,
Yeah.
and you have and ... and that's it.
Is this a safe space?
It depends.
I think a lot of the issues from this movie stem from the fact that Maxxxine is not a very interesting or
not at
likable
all.
character.
No.
Yeah, they don't do anything with it.
Right, they don't.
She's much better as part of an ensemble, which is why she works in X, because she's the bratty bitchy one. You know what I mean?
I don't think you can't make her.
But they didn't. You know what I mean?
I think they could. I actually disagree. I think the first scene was the only scene I liked when she's auditioning.
Yeah.
And like I like Maxxxine like that. That's the Maxxxine that I like, where she's like, I'm a fucking star.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. And she like walks past all like the girls lined up.
You should just go home
She's
now.
like, you should just go home now.
If
I'm
they
like,
did
sweet.
more with that, like
Yeah.
Well, they stuck to that.
I thought the
lean
movie
into-
was gonna be that. I thought the movie was gonna be her like trying to like really get a role, and then she gets
Yeah.
it, and then it
Yep.
turns into a different movie.
and then things just kind of happen to her for
it's-
an hour and a half.
It's where you said earlier where you couldn't pinpoint a way where it went on. It's like this movie, you don't realize how bad the structuring and pacing is until you realize it's almost over, and you're like, wait a minute.
Nothing happened.
What is going on? Why do we have so many threads? Why are these detectives
Um,
relevant characters to be spending entire scenes on?
Good segue. Every supporting performance besides Giancarlo Esposito sucks.
What?
Everyone's really mad
I said
at
this to Dom. One of my favorite character actors is Bobby Cannavale. What do they give
really
him?
bad
Why
at
do
this.
they give him
He's really
nothing?
bad at this.
He's not even like the cheap humor.
No.
Like every joke scene that he has falls flat.
Like they feel like such
that?
like a last minute
I
afterthought.
I'm going to disagree with you slightly. He's not good. I think Kevin Bacon's really funny though.
I think Kevin Bacon is.
It's almost purposefully over
He's
the top and
going
campy.
for something.
He's going camp.
And so I can at least like
I mean, he's going.
I can respect
sure.
I can respect swinging for something like that. I don't think it lands.
I think,
but
I
like
think,
he's playing a character.
but I think but I think it's your thing where they didn't know whether to hit that campy tone or that,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think his performance is on one complete side of the spectrum than the direction is.
Yes.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
I
It's
think
definitely
if,
the direction.
If
it's direction,
everything was
yeah.
heightened like
if
that,
you put that exact same performance in a sillier movie,
Yes.
it would be better.
Exactly.
But
It just wasn't a swing to me. Like it was just like, oh, we're doing this. Okay.
A swing in the sense of like he's committing to something, like he's committing to the wrong idea.
Yeah,
but he's
yeah,
committing
yeah.
to it. You know what I mean? And so there's a level of like respect that I have like as an actor for like that kind of performance.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. But like I at least
did the damn thing.
I get what he was going for.
Yeah.
Bobby Cannavale and Michelle Monaghan are just there. Halsey should never be in a movie
Fucking
again.
accent.
Like
was that?
I'm so sorry. Like I
all
listen,
New Yorkers.
I'm
This is
like
New York.
I'm an
Whatever
actor.
accent
I'm
she's
an actor. I
in.
get it. It's tough. Like it's hard to give a good performance.
What the
Maybe
fuck?
call
What
Halsey,
accent?
like
What accent was
that's
she trying
how
to
she
do?
talks.
Really, she sounded like a
That's how she
Brooklyn,
talks.
like a
Have you
Brooklyn
ever heard her
asshole.
sing? She doesn't know how to pronounce R's. That's just how she talks.
Wow.
Like you never,
No,
you've
no,
never
it's
seen,
not.
you've never
It's
seen
not
the,
how she
you've never
talks.
seen the Malsey video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's-
Like
She's
that's
singing in a mall. Ever seen that?
I mean, that's not how she talks.
it's a really funny fucking video where she's talking like she sings in this movie.
Okay, yeah,
she's doing
yeah,
that
yeah.
breathy like, oh my god, like you know, like have you seen, do you know what I'm talking about, the Malsey video?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah.
funny. Word.
It's a thing where I want to get into spoilers in a minute.
No.
But another thing I was disappointed on, where are the kills? Where are
Yeah,
the
is it-
creative kills
So-
in this film?
It's not scary enough to be a horror movie. It's
Yeah.
not thrilling enough to be a thriller, and I'm not compelled enough by the drama for it to be a drama, and it's not funny, so it can't be a comedy.
It's also not a slasher.
Yeah, I was about to
It's
say.
barely a slasher.
like
barely.
it tries to dip its toes in so many ponds
Yeah.
that it just ends up it doesn't get fully soaked in any of
To,
them.
Very
to
well
quote,
said.
there was
Very
a
well
letterbox review I saw when I was just browsing through them that said it's more of a mixtape than a movie.
Yeah.
It's just
a
taking
half-baked
pieces.
idea, man.
I would to that point. It really seems to me like X and Pearl happened,
Yes.
took off.
Yes.
And then T West was like, "Oh, I got to do a third one, right?"
Yeah.
You know, I
Sucks,
don't
man.
know how far in advance. Like, I don't know if this was all planned from the beginning. This, based purely on the quality of this movie, that is the vibe I get. That this was like a rush job to capitalize on the runaway success of those first two movies.
I agree that it felt rushed. I hate the idea that he committed to a trilogy without having the last fucking film to bring it all together. But it really does feel like
I
Who
think
would
he-
have thought this would have been the
And-
horror sequel trilogy?
I think he might have had the basic idea because even in X
the
you
first
have
scene is that's such a great basis to have
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
okay, this is how
well, like even if you
Drive
if you
home.
go back to X, they have like the pastor got on the TV, which is relevant to this movie. We'll get into spoilers in a second. But it's like almost like he had the basic idea of what he wanted to do in this one, but probably did not have it written out.
No,
I don't
he didn't have it
imagine.
finished.
Well, he doesn't make it relevant enough throughout the story.
That's the thing.
That it comes completely out of nowhere by the time you get there. Even if he knew what was going on, he doesn't make it clear to the audience.
Yeah. This movie feels both too long and too short, and I can't explain
That
it.
felt like 2 hours.
I'm going deeper into the sequel trilogy comparison. It is the Star Wars sequel trilogy of the horror genre. The first movie's like a safe, it follows genre conventions, but in a way that's still compelling and entertaining.
Great.
The second one is a little more polarizing, a little more controversial. It's the big swing, and then the third one is just a piece of dog shit that was completely rushed because nobody knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
There you go. It's the rise of Skywalker of slasher films. There you go. That's.
Put that on the poster.
Nailed it. I was about to say.
I want to get into spoilers, so let's give our ratings now.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
I am the nicest here. 2.5.
The Paula Abdul of our panel. I would
2.5 out of 5.
I fucking hate this movie. 1.5. I'm surprised that you hated it more than me.
Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah.
Yes, he used your phrase, a nothing movie.
Yeah.
It is a nothing movie.
I didn't. Yeah.
But it's fascinating because it's a nothing movie in the sense that it tries to say too much and ends up saying nothing.
It's an
at all.
offensive nothing movie.
It's confounding.
I was actually good.
It's confounding.
But I am bamboozled, guys.
It's crazy. I don't know, man.
But you still prefer it to In a Violent Nature.
Gun to your head.
Well, when you put it that
gun to
way,
your head.
Yeah.
Gun to your head right now. Which one would you rather rewatch?
Yeah, Maxxine.
Yeah, Maxxine. I would rather watch
fucking
Maxxine.
hate
I would rather watch
You know what's
Maxxine.
so funny though?
Yeah.
There's that one take towards the beginning where it's following Maxxine as she's walking through the bar and it takes a little too long and it reminded me so much of In a Violent Nature. I'm like, can this motherfucker walk any faster? God damn.
Who walks that fucking slow?
Let's get into the final 20 minutes, which...
Spoilers for
Dog
going
shit.
forward. Yeah, so this whole time they're using the real life as a Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As kind of backdressing for the killing sprees going on in this, but there's also
Richard Ramirez, who's a real killer.
But there's also an adjacent killer.
Yeah.
Who's kind of stalking Maxxine throughout the movie, and eventually
we're the audience is meant to be misled to thinking it's the Night Stalker.
you assume it's the Night Stalker.
Anybody that knows, that has seen the Night Stalker documentary knows that he didn't wear rubber gloves.
You know what's funny is I knew Richard Ramirez. I didn't know he was called the Night Stalker, so that's what threw me off. Then you said that name, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. They showed footage of him getting arrested in the end as well.
Yeah. It's revealed to be her fucking her dad is the fucking killer in the end, and it's such the wind got knocked out of the fucking theater when that happened.
Face. I love.
I was are you
And that's the piece.
kidding
That's
me?
a piece I was talking about, where the basic idea of it was set up in X.
Yes.
The basic the basement okay, her
2 movies ago.
Yeah, 2 movies ago.
2 movies and 2 years ago.
And then the first scene of this movie, I suppose, sets it up a little bit. It's home video footage of Maxxine. Okay, then nothing related to that. The rest of the movie, and then father twist villain.
I was about to say that goes back to the whole. Okay, it's a half-baked idea. You've built this trilogy. We knew it was a trilogy in the first place.
Yeah.
And this is what your
There's-
end goal was?
This is what we were building
There's
towards.
no way this didn't go
way.
through massive rewrites, right?
No way.
Because
man.
this is structured nonsensically.
I think Silent Dawn on Letterboxd put it best. This has 1,000 plot lines and they all end in the most unsatisfying way
For
possible.
real,
Yeah.
man. Your
Dude.
dad? Come on.
the ending. So then there's a big shootout that erupts at this fucking.
He manages to kill both of the cops, so they end up being completely useless.
Both off screen.
Yeah, both off screen.
Back to
in
back
a slasher
off-
movie.
And then he gets terminally injured off screen as well.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about that fall.
Yeah. Oh my god. The fucking the lady
down
cop, Michelle Monaghan, comes stumbling out with a cross in her eye, yeah! And then she goes tumbling off the fucking Hollywood Hills. I immediately thought of the hot rod
It's
scene.
shot Hot Rod,
somebody
dude.
needs to cut that together.
And it's the final kill of the movie, her shooting her dad in the face with a shotgun, just reiterated what this movie is missing. I'm like, oh, cool, you did a practical squib. Where has this been? You're making a horror film.
The best kill in the movie for me was when they crush Kevin Bacon in the trash, the car compactor. I leaned over to Dylan and I said the only time in this hour and 40 minutes where this movie has had any juice was that scene to me. Yeah. Where he's like begging for his life and shit. Like I'm like, oh, like okay, you see the blood like Maxxxine like becoming like a killer. Like I was like this should have been the movie, you know? Like
well, I was kind of disappointed with that scene because that scene there's like a montage of like her like gearing up, like she goes to buy those 2 like Doberman pinchers, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, she's gonna like get the dogs to like eat them. Off. She's gonna get them to eat them, and then they don't. They just kind of lick up the blood.
Yeah. Like, I mean, let's not forget about the testicle festival in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
that's a fun scene.
That was cool.
I like that.
I couldn't. I looked away. I went to hug Kyle. Yeah, that is
vile.
Yeah, no, I watched that shit happen.
When she like raised her foot, I was like,
oh, I can't.
Again, and that's in that first 20 to 30 minute chunk of the movie. That's like, it's still got some juice. You're still like with it until you realize that it's not going anywhere.
It's weird. I realized like I think earlier than that I realized I was like, oh.
It's like getting visited by your uncle who you thought was really cool when you were a kid. He like shows up and he's got like beer and listening to rock music, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out with my uncle, and then you start spending more time with him, and you're like,
and he rips a line.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this guy's kind of a loser. Like,
why is he looking at me like?
And then and then at the end of the trip, he tries to diddle.
I don't really remember a whole lot about the end of that trip. It was something about a shed. I don't know. Like
again, it's one of those where we just did this a couple weeks ago with In a Violent Nature, where the last 20 minutes kills it.
It's insane, man.
Kills it dead.
I think
that's the building from Psycho.
That had to be like a studio like thing.
That was a studio note, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're like, no, they're not gonna know what this is from.
So they have the Bates Motel featured in this. They don't use it well, which is weird because they have the fucking set, but they show the Bates Motel sign, and then they have a fucking ADR line. Do you know what this is? This is the building from Psycho.
It's like, yeah, I know! Like, it's the most famous movie ever made.
The Bates Motel.
Like, what? I think Hereditary ultimately might have done more damage for A24 than we realize, because it's bred this wave of people like attempting high concept horror that has gotten worse and worse as we've gone on, where people have kind of lost the
I wouldn't point to Hereditary as
but it's like the sense in like like I think you said like The Dark Knight and Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying Hereditary's bad, but I'm saying like the movies that have like especially with A24, just everything that's tried to emulate it.
It's the bar they're trying to reach.
In terms of like horror movies that like we're smarter than normal horror movies, you know what I mean? Like we've gotten to a point now where horror movies are trying way too hard to be like clever and subvert your expectations, that they lose sight of being a good horror movie. I'm not talking Hereditary. Hereditary is a masterpiece, but that is like the little domino that has like gotten us to like In a Violent Nature, Maxxxine. Like it's gotten us to this point now where it's like, okay, we're kind of losing the
sight.
I'm reminded of this because the trailer for the sequel played before this. That is the reason I liked Smile, because it was just a normal horror movie.
It stays in its lane.
It's derivative for sure, but
it's
also
solid. Like it revels in what it is, and it uses the tools that it has at its disposal. It never tries to be anything more than it is, and it benefits from that so much.
So I'm excited for Smile 2.
Smile 2.
I think I had said this to Jordan. I think it looks more interesting than I thought the first one was. Yeah. I didn't dislike the first one. I just thought it was fine.
I'll tell you what.
The second one looks like it's really gonna.
I think the only horror movies coming out this year that I'm still looking forward to are Alien, Nosferatu, and Trap.
I mean, those three.
Those are like the
Cuckoo.
And, Cuckoo looks so fucking good. Oh hell yeah! It's a Hunter Schafer.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Listen. In a Violent Nature and Maxxxine both look good.
No, I think Cuckoo looks great.
I can't like. I have to temper my expectations with these, especially with horror movies, because we sat in that theater and watched like 6 trailers
My
straight,
God.
and they all follow the exact same formula, so you can't gauge the quality of the movie from a trailer anymore.
It's
because
true.
they're all the same.
It's become a trend.
So it's like, I'm doing this thing in my life, but it may not be what it seems. Boomhouse, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just.
Oh god, that AI one.
Yeah,
oh,
dude, yeah,
Jesus.
haunted Alexa, dude. Like,
just watch Smart.
John Cho, man, get a new agent, brother.
Bill Skarsgård get a new agent. That Crow remake looks terrible.
Hopefully, it's really funny though.
I
it
hope
looks
so.
like it could be.
I
Like,
hope it's really
it could
Looks
be
like
like
it takes itself a little too serious.
But I think
Unfortunately.
I think it could go so far in that direction.
And it's like complete dog
That,
shit.
I think it's gonna be. It's like earnestly like a Hot Topic.
Because weren't
like,
the test
like
screenings
music
of The
video.
Crow like some of the worst ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People that saw that movie did not.
Honestly, if we get like a generational bad movie out of the Crow remake, I'll be
fine
happy.
with it.
I would be much happier with that than giving it like a 2.5. You know what I
Agreed.
mean?
Agreed.
Like,
I've got one more thing to say.
What do you got?
T West or Ty West?
Ty West, I believe.
That's what I thought. Ty West directed the music video for Justin Timberlake's No Angels.
no
Right,
shit.
dude.
It
Really?
just so happens that is the best thing that he did this year.
Oh shit. Oh yeah. I gotta get the JT poster. We haven't hung that up yet.
Tune in for the video podcast.
Yeah.
For this.
Bring Justin Timberlake's good music back. Oh wait, that's all I had to say. My fault.
Holy shit.
I think Ty West is a good director when he is under like constraints. I suppose.
When he has Justin Timberlake's music as the
X is
background,
great
we're
and Pearl is great.
Did he write X Pearl in this?
Yes, he has a writing credit on all 3.
It's his trilogy, man. Like
I saw that Sam Levinson executive produced this.
Maybe that's where this went wrong.
I got bad vibes.
I think he also produced X though. And
I heard you snickering, and I was like, "This."
Literally, we saw his name appear on screen, and we all went,
Yes.
I think, but yeah. To be fair, I think he produced all 3 of them.
Did you see Malcolm and Marie, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. Okay, cool.
It insists upon itself.
I like it.
It's just a Scream core piece of shit.
I think it's good.
I'm sorry, I forgot that you had.
Then I was sorry. What'd you call it?
I said I'm sorry, I forgot you have seen that movie.
I have. I understand.
I remember.
If you want to say insists upon itself, it absolutely does. Sam Levinson's a hack, but
He
I
did
like
produce
he's a
X
hack
Pearl
piece of
and
shit.
Yeah.
the Maxxxine.
He's a hack
Okay.
fucking pig.
And that's
but-
someone who really likes Euphoria, but I don't want to ever see anything from him ever.
You like high schoolers, Kyle?
You've seen all of Euphoria too. I just want to.
He's a fucking weirdo.
He's a weirdo.
Be able to look out for my Kyle diss track.
I have nothing else to say on Maxxxine.
Yeah,
It's not worth.
It's a shame. Like it's obviously longtime listeners know we do our Shaky Awards at the end of the year.
Oh,
and I feel like we have our biggest contender for biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
It's
And
up there,
I-
dude.
And I think
It's up there,
In a
dude.
Violent Nature is up there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think that's an easy contender for like worst film because this was like the difference is I wasn't really looking forward to In a Violent Nature in the same way I was looking like Maxxxine. Like you got these two great like movies like you're expecting this to
That's
be good.
the letdown.
Like, exactly. So this strong contender so far.
Yeah, fall off.
Of the year?
Of the year maybe. Yeah.
Mine's Mean Girls.
I didn't even waste my fucking
Yeah,
time.
I did not. I did
Holy
not.
shit.
Mine's Imaginary.
Was
Blumhouse
that?
stuff.
I mean,
Are we talking about our worst movie of the year so far?
Yeah.
It's probably In a Violent Nature still for me.
Was that a half star for you, by the way?
I didn't even give it a I was like,
Zero.
It's not very good.
You've seen the original, right?
yeah,
Okay, all right, cool.
Well, that's the episode.
That was a great episode.
That was
Talking
great.
about movies.
you guys flew me out for this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we did.
Yeah, dude, we picked.
Yeah, by the way, so like in our budget, we couldn't really get you a ticket back, so you may have to figure that out.
You can walk home.
Yeah, dog.
No, I can't.
No,
You got strong
don't
legs.
look at those legs.
Look
Dog.
at those calves.
If Forrest Gump can do laps around the country.
And you're way stupider than he was, dog. Like,
Alright, I'm gonna watch Forrest Gump.
So next week, I'm very excited for. We are talking about.
speaking about good legs.
Yeah, we're talking about long legs. And for this one, we have all decided to pick a movie that's kind of a detective thriller horror
With like
type
a horror
vibes.
kind of aspect to it.
So, you want to give your pick?
So I'm doing Memories of Murder.
Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho.
I am doing Cure. by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. It's Japanese, and it is kind of Japan's answer to Seven around that time.
Gnarly, yeah.
I'm doing a little known lesser indie film that doesn't really have a lot of attention. Silence of the Lambs.
Great.
It's
Great. Jonathan Demme. Love him.
Yep.
Little underground movie. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but
So it's sounding like this is going to be like the highest quality bar for any
for,
episode so
for
far.
a minute,
Just a bunch of 4s and 5s.
Just a bunch of peak we're about to watch. So that's going to be that. Thank you for joining us.
Dude, seriously.
Thanks for having me.
Anything to plug?
Any last words?
I don't know. Those are my last words. No, I don't have anything to plug.
Okay.
If you want to find me, you can find me. So.
God damn. All
That
right.
was hard as fuck. That was raw, dude.
I'm going to post his address on the screen right now.
It's just what do they call those fucking things at the bottom of newscasts? And shit? There's a word for it.
Put his
like
phone
his
number.
address. Just his coordinates.
Docs.
Just fucking pass by.
If you
Find Dominic Regazzi.
If you like the podcast, you can follow it on Twitter at Cinema Shakedown and Instagram at Cinema Shakedown Pod. And you can follow me personally on Twitter and Letterboxd at Kyle Craigbaum. That's KRIEGHBAUM.
Oh, Dom found the Paddington.
Paddington. What about you? Where's it?
Now you're destroying the set.
What are we doing, guys? No, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at J_Dennis99 or on Letterboxd at my name, Jordan Dennis.
And you can leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
All right.
Now
Well,
follow me on the Slope God.
The Slope God on Instagram and
Letterboxd.
Letterboxd if you want to see my hack
if you love Vincent Gallo posting, which I know you do.
If you want a sneak peek into my mental illness, follow me on these socials, dude.
Or just listen to the podcast. You'll
That's
get a
true.
good vibe.
Yeah, it's honestly-
you get a pretty good
You
insight.
get a pretty good look at our psyche from listening
What
to
a
us.
piece of shit.
We're done.
Anyway, that's
Go home.
guys.
Stop
you
listening.
can
We're
tell
done!
somebody-
Do the Ferris Bueller thing. Put the Ferris.
I don't know.
Put the
how-
rope
I
on
guess
there.
I'm just oogly who.
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
Love you. Goodbye.
Bye.